Hello fifth years, we're going to go through the solutions of the homework question I gave you on Tuesday, and this is question 4. So in the book they've drawn a diagram, and it's not a great diagram, but this does happen and we need to be able to think these through. So they have a triangular ramp. I'm just doing it freehand now. The front triangle is ABF like this. And it's clear that we have a right angle there. And then it's in 3 dimensions, so it's spread back like this to the point E. Coming down the ramp, EC is parallel to FB. Coming across like this. Now, behind we have the point D. And the bottom is a rectangle, D to C like this. So that's the diagram that we're given. They've also sketched a triangle ABF. They've also sketched a triangle where we've joined F to C. So I'm going to do this in another colour. Do you know, I do recommend drawing out the diagram again, even if they've given it to you, because it can help you visualise it. And this triangle is coming back here like this as well. So I encourage you to use your pieces of string or whatever you need to do to convince yourself that this triangle, the triangle AFC, is a right-angled triangle with a right angle down here. Take your time if you need to convince yourself of that. On the diagram, they didn't shade in this part. They just shaded in this part, which is misleading because we really do want to find our right-angled triangles. And we don't know any point in there. Okay, the first part of the question. Oh, there's some other information. This distance is 27 centimetres. This distance is 17 centimetres, going back like that. And this height up here is 9 centimetres. They tell us that ADEF, this back shape here, is a rectangle. And that's important because it means that all of those are right angles as well. The first thing they ask us to do is to find the angle, the measure of the angle ABF. Okay, now we know from geometry that whatever the middle letter is the angle that we're talking about. So we're going to be looking at B down here. But in what direction? Well, we want to look at the triangle ABF. ABF is this front triangle here. Along the front of the ramp. So we're going to sketch out that triangle. And it is a right angled triangle. They almost always are in these questions. With B down here, a right angle here, A and F here. And this is the angle that they want us to find, the angle ABF. We know that this is 27 and we know that this is 9 centimetres from our diagram. So we're looking for an angle and they've given us 2 sides. That means we're using SOHCAHTOA, where this is the hypotenuse, this is my adjacent, and this is my opposite. So for part 1, I'm going to be using SOHCAHTOA, and I'm going to be using tan in particular because the 2 sides I was given were the opposite and the adjacent. So tan of B is my opposite over my adjacent. You can simplify that to a third or just type it into the calculator the way it is. I don't know the angle, that means I'm using the inverse function, tan inverse of a third. It says give each answer correct to 1 decimal place. So into my calculator I type tan inverse tan minus 1 of 1 over 3, and that is 18.43 or 18.4 to 1 decimal place, 18.4 degrees. And that's the answer to part 1. Okay, part 2. Find the length of the line AC. Okay, that's the base of this green triangle here, AC. Well, AC is also part of the base rectangle as well. So if I draw out that rectangle in 2 dimensions, B, C, and A, and we want to find this distance here. That's what we're looking for. We know this distance, and we know this distance. That's the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle, so we're going to use Pythagoras' theorem. So by Pythagoras, we know that h squared is equal to 27 squared plus 17 squared. And that's going to give me 1018. So h is the square root of 1018, and that to 1 decimal place is 31.9. Move this out of the way, sorry. 31.9 centimeters. That's the answer to part 2. And finally, part 3. We're asked to find the measure of the angle ACF. So this green triangle that I've drawn here, we're looking for this angle on it. So let's sketch out my green triangle to begin with. C is down here, F is up here, A is here, there's my right angle, and we're trying to find that angle in there. We've just calculated AC. We did that as part of part 2, so we know that that's 31.9 centimeters. And AF we already know is 9 centimeters. So we're looking for an angle, and we have 2 sides. We're going to use SOHCAHTOA. And these are almost always tan. The 2 sides that we have there are the opposite and the adjacent, which means that tan of my angle C is 9 over 31.9, and C is tan inverse of that, 9 over 31.9 to 1 degree, or to 1 decimal place, tan inverse 9 over 31.9, which gives me 15.75, 15.8 degrees. 15.8 degrees. Okay, hopefully you were all able to attempt that, but if you had any problems with it, just go through the video, try and fix them, and if there's something you still don't understand, just let me know. Okay, thank you.